All right, finally, this topic that you almost feel like you have to wash yourself before discussing or after discussing, I don't know, at some point during the discussion. And that is Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes was a guest on Tucker Carlson. And, the internet has blown up about this. Twitter in particular has blown up about this. And it's really fascinating to me. Tucker Carlson is considered, and I think it's true that he is, and this is the terrifying thing, Tucker Carlson is still considered kind of mainstream Republican, representative of the conservative movement. He speaks at Turning Point USA. He's within the bounds of acceptability in the Republican Party. This is the same Tucker Carlson that, has guests on that question the evil of the Nazis, and he kind of nods along. This is the Tucker Carlson that thinks Putin is amazing, that Russian supermarkets are the best, and their subway station is the greatest in human history. This is the Tucker Carlson who's come to blame everything on the Jews. It's a Tucker Carlson who hates Israel and who said recently, maybe it was the interview with Nick Fuentes, that the people who hates most in the world, are Christian Zionists, Christians who love Israel. They are the worst in the world. He hates them. This Tucker Carlson, with those ideas, his anti-Semitic ideas, his pro-Russian ideas, his anti-American ideas, his rejection of all of the fundamental principles of America, his flirtation with Nazism or Holocaust denial, or maybe not Holocaust denial, but denial of the evil of Hitler and the Nazis, that is still considered mainstream. He's still invited by Turning Point USA to speak on stage. Well, now there's an effort to expand the tent even further, right? We saw that with the text messages between these Republican operatives that were filled of racist, anti-Semitic, but also just celebration of rape and all kinds of other stuff, just horrible stuff. What is this? We got another one. Oh, we got another one with a swastika. I think anybody who has a swastika is history. All right. I don't care if they even ask me a question. All right. All right, I'm going to spend all my time now, getting rid of these people. Maybe somebody, my wife is letting me know who else I should block. She said he came back. Anyway, I noticed it. So, but who's this Nick Fuentes? Is he also somebody that needs to be blocking? I need a moderator, I know. Oh yeah, well, yeah. All right, let's block this guy too. It's because Nick Fuentes is mentioned. That's why they're all here. Right. It's all his groypers. Anyway, the decision is now, I guess, being made that the Republicans really need an even bigger tent. That the fact that they continue to include Tucker Carlson has now softened them to real supporters of Nazis, to real Jew haters, ones that don't try to hedge and don't have to pretend, to real racists, to real white nationalists. I mean, why stop at Tucker Carlson? Why not go all the way? We had those text messages between the Republicans, young Republicans, that were just horrible. And you remember Matt Walsh said, "Oh no, it's a big tent. We have to include them. We have to fight the left. We have to beat the left." Well, okay, we have to beat the left. We have to take all these really ugly human beings saying really horrible things that used to be completely unacceptable in conservative circles. We have to embrace them because we have to beat the left. We have to accept Tucker Carlson because, look, we have to beat the left, and he's Tucker Carlson. He's got millions of people who listen to him, and he hasn't yet come out. No, he has, but he hasn't come out completely as a white nationalist, and he hasn't come out as an anti-Semite. Nick Fuentes is an anti-Semite. No, he's an out-and-out, unequivocal anti-Semite. I've seen enough of Nick Fuentes' material where it's not even close. It's not even little. He's not an anti-Zionist. He's an anti-Semite. It's the Jewish bankers. It's the elders of Zion. It's interesting that I blocked these two people. Like 50 people disappeared from watching the show. So the groypers all went away all at the same time. Yeah. But no, guys, Nick Fuentes is I've seen it. I haven't brought all the testimonies because I don't need to, and I'm not going to go back and watch. There's only so much time that is justified spending in the sewers, and Nick Fuentes is the sewer. And I know some of you watch him, but he is, without any question, he is an anti-Semite. And Dave Smith today came out, Dave Smith came out today. Where was this Dave Smith? Dave Smith says, the Tucker Fuentes episode was great. The people clutching their pearls about it are ridiculous. These types of conversations are the only positive way forward. Yes. So Dave Smith, Nick Fuentes, Dave Smith, what's the difference? Dave Smith, can't hide behind he's a hater of Israel, and he's an anti-Semite. So Dave supports expanding the Republican umbrella, expanding the umbrella of civilized conversation to include anti-Semites, to include racists, to include white nationalists. And don't say being a white nationalist is not racist. That is racist. And liking Dave Smith is not a virtue, it's a vice. It doesn't matter. There've always been anti-Semitic Jews. We've seen. Yeah, every time I say, like, Nick Fuentes is an anti-Semite, 20 people drop my feed. There's another bunch went now. It's pretty funny. There is some buffering going on. I apologize. The Wi-Fi gods have not been appeased by your sacrifice. You need to sacrifice some more. Intensify your sacrifice. Intensify your prayers. Now 20 people join. I've never seen YouTube as volatile as it is right now in terms of the number of viewers. It's kind of funny. Anyway, I think the decision is made to bring Fuentes into the tent. And Tucker Carlson is the way in. And he did a 2-hour interview with Nick Fuentes where, softball after softball after softball. It's interesting, he didn't ask Nick Fuentes how many people lived in Iran, what the population of Iran is. You remember he asked that of Ted Cruz, who he considers a devil now. Ted Cruz is like eviler than communists. He didn't challenge Nick Fuentes when Nick Fuentes said he loved Stalin, and generally didn't push him on the things we know Nick Fuentes says. He didn't push him on anti-Semitism. He didn't push him on white nationalism. He didn't push him on any of these things. He kind of had he basically did everything in his power to normalize Nick Fuentes, to make Nick Fuentes look normal, look nice, look friendly, look funny, as Chandler says. But Nick Fuentes is a monster. I mean, he's not a monster in the sense that I think he can actually achieve power, although he has a real charisma with people. I find him, disgusting just looking at him. Roland, thank you for the additional sacrifices for the Wi-Fi gods. He looks slimy and disgusting, but he has an appeal. He has an appeal. I'm sure in some sick way he is funny. I'm sure that he finds ways to present. But the main thing that he appeals to is he says things that nobody else will say. People are attracted to kind of the fringe, particularly on the side of evil, the bad boy, the guy who will say the stuff nobody else says, will say the stuff a lot of people are thinking deep down, or is willing to say stuff that causes people to think about because they're so ignorant. They don't know what Hitler actually did. They don't know anything about World War II. They don't know anything about Stalin or any of these things. So why not? Yeah. I don't take... So, I mean, I don't know. This to me, in my view, this to me is really the death of the right. And I don't see how the right recovers from this. I really don't see how the right recovers from this. If you add the number of people who watch Candace, the number of people who watch Tucker, and now if you include in that, you know, Groypers were always, okay, they're over there. They don't count. But when you include now the Groypers, 1 million people watch Nick Fuentes, the right is finished. The right is now, you know, basically it's anti-Semitic because it's defined by its most consistent adherents. And the most consistent adherents are the anti-Semites, the racists, the white nationalists, the fascists. That's what the right has become. It's become a fascist right. And that's what the appeal is to. A lot of people are saying that, I mean, I don't know how seriously to take it, that this is a play for J.D. Vance, that J.D. Vance is afraid of Nick Fuentes. Nick Fuentes has been going after J.D. Vance. Why does he go after J.D. Vance? Because J.D. Vance has a brown wife, an Indian wife, and has half-breed children, according to Nick Fuentes. And that is a disqualified, right? He's a racist. I guess not. Ann Coulter is a racist too. I mean, this is the Republican Party. It's a racist party. It's unbelievable for me to say that. Ronald Reagan's political party is an out-and-out racist party because now it has embraced Tucker Carlson, Nick Fuentes, and Candace Owen, and all the chat and all the Nazi sympathizers. I mean, here's the funny thing, and this is an interesting tweet I saw. So Dinesh D'Souza debated Nick Fuentes a while back. Not sure exactly when, but he debated Nick Fuentes. Charlie Kirk was really pissed off at Dinesh. And here I agree completely with Charlie. Charlie has some good characteristics. Charlie texted Dinesh and said, don't debate him. You're giving him attention. And now Dinesh says, yeah, but I challenged Fuentes. Yeah, but you gave him a platform. You treated him as an equal. You put him up on a stage with you. You legitimized his views, whether you debated against them or not. And then he writes, but now Tucker has done what Charlie feared most. Platform Fuentes and give him a friendly and critical hearing. But that's inevitable, Dinesh, once you're willing to debate. Once you're willing to debate, okay, there's something to debate here. Let's platform the guy. Let's talk to him. So Dinesh does not see how he was part of the problem. Charlie Kirk was absolutely right. You've got to cut the cancer. You've got to cut these people off. Not debate them, not engage with them. Certainly not platform them, but debating is platforming. It's a form of platforming. You've got to cancel them. I'm all for cancel culture. Certain views should be canceled completely. I mean, the fact is that now Fuentes will get much bigger after the Carlson, and a lot of people will be seduced by his relative moderation on Tucker Carlson to go listen to him and will be radicalized because he has that impact on people. He has whatever that charisma is. I mean, Hitler was charismatic, go figure. So's Fuentes, go figure. I mean, if you look at Hitler, he doesn't seem charismatic. Short, ugly, a stupid mustache, slick hair. Unbelievably unattractive. And this is now going to be part of the whole thing, right? I mean, literally, Tucker Carlson went to this whole thing about how he hates Christian Zionists more than anyone on earth, calling Christian Zionists a dangerous heresy within Christianity. He named Mike Huckabee, Ted Cruz, John Bolton, Karl Rove, George W. Bush as examples. So these are the people they want to kick out of the Republican Party. They want to kick out Mike Huckabee. No great loss in my view. Ted Cruz, John Bolton, Karl Rove, George Bush. That's what they want to kick out. What do they want to bring in? Nick Fuentes. I mean, this is happening much faster than even I thought. Anyway, I was talking about Vance. So the idea is that Vance is worried that Nick Fuentes will attack him when he runs for president in 3 years from the right. And he wants to neutralize Fuentes. And the way to neutralize him is to bring him into the umbrella so that he doesn't criticize J.D. Vance. And the way to do that is for Tucker Carlson, who's really, really, really good friends with J.D. Vance. That should tell you a lot about J.D. Vance. For Tucker Carlson to bridge the gap. Tucker Carlson is an emissary from Vance. And we'll see. It'll be interesting to see if Fuentes moderates his attack on Vance. I doubt it. Fuentes, I don't think, is going to play that game. Anyway, interesting. The whole thing is interesting. Again, Republican Party descending into racist, fascist hell faster than I expected. But this is an indication of that is exactly what is happening. As Brad Palumbo writes, Nick Fuentes won. He is mainstream now. The years-long effort which I participated in to gatekeep the anti-Semitic, hateful freaks out of the Republican Party and the conservative movement have failed. You can object to this and leave the Republican Party as I have, but to pretend that strict standards of decency or integrity still exist in the modern conservative movement is to delude yourself. I think he's absolutely right. And of course, Dave Smith is celebrating because the more can join the disgusting anti-Jewish, anti-Israeli, anti-American crowd, the happier they are. I mean, ultimately, we're talking about an anarchist, so what do you expect? I mean, yeah, Frank says the vacuum of cultural bankruptcy. I mean, the cultural vacuum here is unbelievable. And into that vacuum, the ugliest, most horrible, most disgusting ideas will flow because there's nothing to stand up against them. Conservatism doesn't have it in them. They don't have it in them to stand up against this.